Thank you. Do any members of the public wish to be heard on this item?
Yes, my name is Ray Perk. I live at 3224 Calle de Cortez, in the Spanish Oaks development. We would ask for a denial of this applicant. The main reason we have is a security issue. Several months ago, the CVS located at that same location was robbed, and the individual that robbed it penetrated our perimeter wall. As Metro watched them climb the wall, they not only did not do anything, they didn't even notify security that they penetrated our property. So for that reason, because of the cash business that is, we would request, the homeowners association would request it.
My name is Susan Young, 2125 Plaza del Dios. I recently purchased a property that will be directly behind this property. I understand that it's a very complicated situation in which you being commissioners have an ethical and financial obligation to balance everything. But coming from a family person, which all of us are, being sons and daughters, me being a mother of 2-year-old twins and 11-year-old daughter that I homeschool, I worry about the use of and the vicinity of having this property so close to my residence. Our kids will be living there, and we fear for any type of crime that might be in the area, given that it is a cash type of transaction. Now, there are other businesses in the area, but being the nature of this kind of business, you can understand it might attract a certain clientele. My backyard is directly, probably adjacent to the retail.
Okay, thank you very much.
My name is Tom Overturf, 2124 Plaza del Dios. I'm also in Spanish Oaks. I was the victim of that robbery on May the 4th. We've had 7 penetrations since March into Spanish Oaks, which used to be kind of an island over there. We've got an 8-foot wall around the property with wires across the top. This guy went over the fence in my yard, hung out there for an hour while the police walked away, and then he kicked in my back door and robbed the place, pushed my wife down on the floor, and left. As I say, we've had 7 of those penetrations of our area since the 26th of March. We see only additional security problems for our area with respect to these marijuana sales areas and the lack of police protection. I would hope that you would vote against this location. Thank you.
My name is Jean Temple. My address is 2113 Plaza del Cerro in Spanish Oaks. I am new in Nevada. I came from California. We have had that law in California, and many children were able to get medical marijuana, and I've seen this happen. And also the marijuana is much stronger than it used to be. And I lost my oldest granddaughter to drugs because of marijuana as an introduction to drugs. And I also saw people selling their marijuana in California so they could get heroin and stronger drugs, but they would sell it to kids and get money that way too. I'm very much against this being right outside our gate. Thank you for listening.
My name is Helen Simmons. My address is 2200 Plaza del Porto. I live in Spanish Oaks. I am very much against this. I have nothing against medical marijuana. I had a daughter who had multiple sclerosis and passed away from that, and it was very hard for her to find, but it did help her in her fight against that disease. But this is so near the Spanish Oaks community, with most of which are senior citizens, and I can see all sorts of parking area problems, and we are just very much against it, and I would hope that you might consider it again.
Thank you very much for coming out this afternoon and speaking on this item, and thank you, Mr. DiFiore, for inviting me to the property and meeting with your applicant as well as yourself. A little background on this property. This was a bank, and it's now a title loan service. And when you go into that, this property, it was one that I personally took a lot of interest in as a possible site because they are secure, they're ready, they have the security in place, they have the vaults in place, they have a place for the drop-off for the pot, they have adequate parking. It does not abut to any neighborhood. It might be close to your neighborhood, unfortunately, but it does not abut to your neighborhood. I also contacted the owner of this shopping center when I was told that they could also use the parking that's behind it, which is about a total of 330 spaces. Of course, it would go as close to the CVS. And they said yes. The second thing I want to say about this owner is they've been in town for many years. They have a great reputation here, and we can't deny everybody and everyone that is close to a neighborhood. This might be close to a neighborhood, but it's not abutting a neighborhood. And I ran the crime report at this address. There were 17 petty crimes in the last 5 days. All of them were on the south side of Sahara. There was one stolen car a few days ago in this parking lot, but within a mile of this property on the north side of Sahara, there has been no crime within a mile of this site. And I can do one of two things today. I can deny the project and ask Mr. DiFiore to have a neighborhood meeting with you all before the next council meeting, or I can listen to what my other planning commissioners have to say and make a recommendation today for the vote. So, and we just can't make everyone happy. So let's see what my other commissioners have to say. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Commissioner?
No, we're gonna appreciate it. We're gonna keep this to the commission right now.
Mr. Chairman, I know this building very well. When they came in for the title loan, special use permit some time ago, or not that long ago actually, the neighbors were generally in support of the use. So taking that into account, obviously it's not a neighborhood that comes out and opposes everything that's going in that corridor. I have no problem with this application.
Excuse me, Commissioner Truesdale, did you want him to address the security prior?
If they could briefly.
Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'd like to point out there may be, again, this is a former bank building. It has a safe. It's of strong and sturdy construction. The property is completely buffered by commercial property in all directions. It sits in the center of a parking lot, so it will have a clear line of sight all the way around the building. So there'll be no place for anyone to loiter or hide on the property. And there are in fact armed guards. There is also 24-hour surveillance, video surveillance, as well as armed surveillance and remote monitoring. So it has a complete security plan as is required by all applicants, and this applicant actually goes above and beyond with exterior surveillance as well.
Regarding special use permit 54969, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation today for approval. I'd like to put a 1-year administrative review on this property for approval on item 54969, following all of staff's recommendations at this time. Thank you.
Motion to approve item number 6 carries.
The applicant is Greenleaf Medical LLC. The owner is Sahara West Executive Park LLC.
Kevin Reich, Miller Architecture, 1771 East Flamingo in Las Vegas. I'm here on behalf of the applicant.
I'm sorry.
Kevin Reich.
Kevin
Sorry,
Wright?
This is not fair for me. Kevin
Yeah.
Reich.
Right. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's R-E-I-S-C-H. Secondly, I'd like to say that we are now on the agenda to be on for the Spanish Oaks Homeowners Association meeting on October 8th. And currently, my understanding is Councilwoman Tarkanian and Senator Tick Sigerblum are planning on being there at this meeting as well. And I know there's some members of the Spanish Oaks here, so I don't want to speak on their behalf. It's approaching the dispensary location. To the dispensary and the location is to provide a destination dispensary and wellness center focused on the health and living and education, all presented in a discreet and secure environment. We understand, we've heard the security concerns, as everybody else has, securing the property. But we have a great opportunity here to work with our adjacent neighbors in Spanish Oaks with security together to not just secure our facility, work hand in hand. If things are going to happen outside the facility, the reality is our security people are here to take care of ourselves. But I would submit that we have a chance to do stuff right, not just to try to fight our neighborhood.
Ray Burke, 3224 Calais de El Cortez. I'm one of the board of directors on the HOA board of directors, and not like SUP 54969, this is adjacent to our property. In fact, their north property line is our property line. Not only are we still concerned about the safety, as I stated in the previous comments, we're also concerned about the traffic. We have a big problem of cut-through traffic that come down El Camino from Valley View that cuts through this parking lot. The cut-through got so bad that the owners of that property put ballards on the north side of those buildings so the cars wouldn't cut through. So now what they're doing is they're cutting through the main part of their parking lot. So not only are you dealing with people coming in, you're dealing with the cut-through traffic.
Thank you.
Cayman Sung, 125 Plaza del Dios in Spanish Oaks. I'm a doctor. I understand the importance of medical marijuana, but this location just does not make sense. It's right at the entrance to Spanish Oaks. It's very densely populated. Might as well put it right at the entrance of City Hall. It just doesn't make sense. We already have a severe security problem at Spanish Oaks. There's been numerous recent break-ins and robberies, and this will only make it worse. People just need to jump over that wall that's right next to it, and they'll be in the community. As Commissioner Quinn stated earlier, we don't know for sure what it's going to do to the crime rates, but we don't want to find out the hard way. This is not the right place to be taking a risk and making an experiment, so I strongly oppose this.
My name is Lauren Zung, and that's my dad, 2125 Plaza del Dios. Every day when I exit this community to go to ballet and soccer, I will be passing this dispensary, and I don't want to do that.
Thank you. Great job.
Is your homework done?
My name is Susan Young, 2125 Plaza del Dios, also in Spanish Oaks. I had spoken to you earlier about item number 6. As a medical physician in internal medicine, I understand the importance of medical marijuana. I spoke to somebody earlier who said that it is his constitutional right to have pot, and I don't disagree. However, having this right in my backyard as a mother, and you'll have to pardon my emotional outburst, but I'm a little bit disgusted and very much frightened about what will happen to my neighborhood. My mother lives in there, my mother-in-law lives in there. They've been there for decades now, and they moved in there without having this in their area and in their neighborhood. And now we're about to move in as well. And we have to decide, is this the appropriate location for us? I highly recommend, please don't let this happen, please.
Thank you.
Helen Simmons, 2200 Plaza del Porto in Spanish Oaks. This proposed facility is at the entrance of Spanish Oaks Complex at Sahara and Spanish Oaks Drive near our front gate. Spanish Oaks has 385 homes, the majority of which are occupied by senior citizens, so they're a vulnerable community. You just approved number 54969 in the Pioneer Bank building in front of CVS. It is precisely 2 blocks from this facility that you're proposing at Sahara and Spanish Oaks Drive. We don't need 2 dispensaries 2 blocks apart. There are 20 applications here in Ward 1 in the Los Arcanians district. I would respectfully request you consider denying this one.
I'm Dr. Lewis Mitchell, 3417 Calle del Torre in Spanish Oaks. As the other presenters have commented, the community is a largely retired, elderly, frail group of homeowners whose largest asset is probably their home in Spanish Oaks. We've had a spate of robberies, home invasions, people entering their homes when they were home. A pregnant lady who was here this afternoon commented that her home was invaded. She was held at gunpoint. She managed to talk the intruder into leaving. We don't need people going over the wall into Spanish Oaks. We have 24-hour guard-gated security. It's not enough. We don't need the element of additional risk.
I just want to ask a question before I hear my fellow commissioners speak. Kevin, is
Yes.
it, sir? Your last name is Reich?
Right, yes.
I was told there's 4 uses going into this building. Could you tell me what they are?
Well, currently, the plan is an entire wellness center. And I guess to further describe that, they haven't been fully completed. The building would have the dispensary, which is separate. The idea is then have basically a health, food, and health awareness section of that would prepare food that's non-hemp laden. And then the lower floor is a television and production facility used for education as well. And I think I explained a little further on that with further
No, that's
detail.
okay. Was there one more?
SUP 55302, Silver Sage Wellness LLC is the applicant. Medical marijuana dispensary at 4626 West Charleston Boulevard in Ward 1. Councilwoman Tarkanian. Staff recommends.
Thank you. David Figler, 615 South 6th Street, also a lifelong resident of Las Vegas. Chairman Goins, member of the commission, and especially citizen participants from nearby neighborhoods and my neighbors in downtown. I represent James and Pam Blasco, Jim and Pam Blasco, and Chris Barrett. They are 100% the owners of this facility, and between the 3 of them have approximately 150 years in the community. The Blasco family and the Surratt family are very well known for building our community from the ground up. Many of the buildings that people go to and utilize, businesses throughout the valley, some that are well known like Spanish Trails, and some that we've actually seen today in presentations from some of the other applicants, are all tied to the Blasco family and Granite World and all the other provisions that they've made.
It sounds like the owners in this case realize that, but we're here to make decisions about land use, and for the same reasons that you've heard me state tonight, this does not seem harmonious with the surrounding properties because it is too close to the residential properties, and therefore I don't believe I'm going to be able to support this tonight.
We've had a lot of interesting applications come here. One thing for this that makes this a little different for me is it's not on an arterial that enters the neighborhood. There's no direct access from this shopping center or any of the adjacent parcels into the neighborhood. It's a more controllable site, and it's right in, right out, only on the arterial. There's absolutely no reason for anybody to venture into the neighborhoods in any way, shape, or form to get to this site. There's no savings to go around the block, and it's well parked. Additionally, nothing more than I grew up here, and I've seen a lot of the developments the Blascos have done, and I believe they really are well-being. They obviously don't need to do this to pay the light bill. In that regard, I've listened to everything the neighbors have said, that off Essex and everything up and down Charleston. But I also understand that no matter what we do here tonight, we can't say there's going to be nothing on Charleston because there's 3 wards that don't have an application in them because of additional issues. Summerlin has restrictions that can't get passed and other such. So when you talk about how do we have them make this accessible to people, we can stick these all in an industrial zone, which I think for the dispensaries is a waste of time, and it doesn't, that's not a medical, that's just saying we're just planning for the ultimate of something else. But I truly believe this area, the bus traffic, the access points and other such, this isn't a smaller site than needs to be done. It's not at the gateway to any major neighborhood along West Charleston or West Sahara, like we've had a lot of the arguments this evening, and I agree with a lot of most of it. But I know the center very well, and I could support this item if you know, depending on what the other commissioners plan to do.
How'd your neighborhood meeting go?
We didn't have one, sir.
So you weren't able to ask about the kids that exit out of Cimarron Memorial High School a little bit more than 2 blocks to your west that actually inundate that intersection every day at 1:30, walking, going east down Smoke Ranch to the houses behind where you're located. They also use the alley to climb over the wall. At least I saw about 6 guys today. And so, I mean, we don't have a neighborhood meeting, but we want to bring this in the neighborhood. And then I have one question on your floor plan. What's the sample room? What happens in the sample room?
We don't like to have anything accessible in bulk to anybody.
To me, this is in too close a proximity to a neighborhood, too much activity with kids come through here each and every day. Up and down Rainbow is nothing but a proliferation of apartments, and those are, unlike Spanish Oaks, these are younger crowd in here, so a little bit too much family activity and kids around here for me to support that.
You ready to make a motion, Commissioner Goins?
I am.
Oh, Commissioner Wilmer, I'm sorry.
On item 38, SUP 55318, I'm going to move to deny the request.
Please vote noting that a yes is for denial.
Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion, open up for discussion amongst the commissioners, beginning with Commissioner Quinn.
Thank you. This also is the abutting property to 2900 Highland. It sits directly behind it. It's a 19,057 square foot cultivation facility. It does abut the railroad tracks. It is surrounded by industrial, commercial. There are no houses. There are nothing that it can affect except its success.
The owner is Plaza Las Americas Holdings LLC for possible action on request for a special use permit for a proposed 2,760 square foot medical marijuana dispensary at 546 Northeastern Avenue, Suite 155 and number 160 in Ward 3, Councilman Coffin. Staff is recommending approval.
Chairman Flangus, members of the Commission, Matthew Collister, Collister Associates, on behalf of applicant Qualcam, the president of which is present here with me, Lorenzo Baracas. We're happy to respond to any questions. We appreciate staff's recommendation. We think this is an appropriate use in the appropriate location.
Thank you very much. Do any members of the public wish to be heard on this item? Seeing none, come on up, sir, and please state your name and address, please. Good afternoon.
Sean Spanier, 1330 Cashman Drive. I would be remiss if I didn't get up and help my fellow citizens, even though it's not in my neighborhood. It appears to me in the overview that there's no separation between residential and this facility. It's right across the street from apartments, it looks like. And I can't imagine if you've driven these big shopping centers. I didn't get a chance to go out there, but I would hope that Councilman Coffin's commissioner did. But there's got to be some type of, kids place or some type of church close by to this. It's Hispanic, mainly community, Hispanic community.
My name is Mona Lisa Samuelson. I live on Kirkland Avenue, 89102. Once again, I know that we have some standing regulations on it has to be a certain distance away from children, but I didn't realize it had to be a certain distance away from kids where they live in their houses. I think that's going to be impossible. As it stands now, we're medical marijuana patients who are only allowed to grow at home anyway, so a lot of us are close to kids and things. So please keep this in mind. This seems a little ridiculous. Thank you.
Now I'll open it up for discussion amongst the commissioners. Commissioner Slotman?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is my neighborhood, this is my ward, and I do drive that area quite a bit. There is a church, it's on the map, it's more than 300 feet away. But for this dispensary to be going in this location, it's the furthest one east that we have. If we're talking about we're wanting to get these dispensaries spread out, let's approve some of the people that are wanting to try getting to the far east of town. Item number 14, SUP 55248. I've moved to approve following staff's recommendations for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please vote. Motion to approve item number 14 carries.